This is awesome.
Oh, fuck. Hey. Good to see you among the living, man. Check it out. It's the latest talent mix.
Thanks, Pete.
Good to see you all among the living. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Talon Mix. It's the Smallville recap podcast that found you in a crater and became your dads. I'm Brian, here as always with my pal Zach. Zach, I don't have any. Man, I'm not on my game today. We already had a full start today.
I would love to be a co-father of a crater baby with you, Brian. We would raise a great crater baby. Let me tell you right now.
Not a good regular baby, but no. A regular baby would be doomed. But like a crater baby where the bar is already so low and the other option is crater.
I don't know that it would be. I don't think we would do a bad job with a real baby. I just think they would have really strong opinions about Doctor Strange 2.
Right.
They would have really specific tastes.
Eventually, how when you go off and you grew up with your family and then you go off into the real world and you kind of learn, the way I grew up was kind of insane. And I think everyone experiences that.
Sure.
And I think our crater baby would eventually learn, like, no one else cares about Doctor Strange 2 the way my crater fathers seem to care about Doctor Strange 2 so passionately.
My dad's pretended there was a vault, an invisible vault in my house until I was 25. I found out.
Anytime something could connect to Doctor Strange 2, of which a shocking amount of things arbitrarily could. And they do a whole miming motion of bringing the vault out and putting in a key code.
They both had keys. They had to turn at the same time.
Is that actually, maybe that's what we need to install on the vault, is a dual key system.
Right. So we can't talk about it unless both of us wants to.
Right. Exactly. I'm off today. I'm off. My brain went completely blank there of a thing to say next into the microphone on our podcast.
I mean, it's not far off from our usual shtick. Is like,
that's true.
Not knowing what to say, it kind of fits our whole vibe.
Man, weird little bit of bookkeeping. I was looking at our analytics the other day. Texas is our most listened. Howdy, everybody.
Howdy.
It's California is a close second, but not that close. Texas is our number one listened to state, and I feel like we have to do something about that, right? I feel like if you're listening to this in Texas, maybe I'll set up an email. You can email me, and I will send you a T-shirt that says, I live in Texas and I listen to a Smallville recap podcast. No frills, nothing fancy. Just a black T-shirt, white text. I live in Texas and I listen to the Talon Mix.
It doesn't tell you where in Texas they are, does it?
It does. I have cities.
Oh, wow. Okay. You have to tell me off mic. Yeah.
Terrifying, right?
What's that?
That's terrifying, right?
Yeah. Well, all you Texas listeners will be happy to know that Brian and I are both wearing cowboy hats. You can't see them, and we will be wearing them for every episode going forward.
Yes. I think this is a shift. I think we can change Texas from being known for big hats, guns, and racism to being known for being big fans of a Smallville recap podcast. I like Texas. I've been to Texas a couple of times.
Texas is known for a lot more than those things, Brian. Football, oil rigs.
Boring. No, I like the things I said. I mean, I don't like the things I said, but unless the hats are fine. The hats are fine.
And
we've
good
lost
basketball
all of Texas.
Teams are in Texas. They got three. They got three basketball teams, Brian.
Okay. I've been to Austin 3 or 4 times. I love Austin. That's all I know about Texas.
That's the only place in Texas I've ever been. So it's almost like you and I have never really been to Texas.
I guess that's fair.
Austin is like the West Coast in Texas.
Right. Right. Well, I still liked it, and I'll probably go again at some point before I die. Zach, we watched this episode Ageless this week. It's fucking we're hitting the end of season 4, and I think I can only describe it as you have venom for this episode.
Yeah, I have venom.
Accurate?
I have venom for the A plot.
Sure.
So the majority of the episode. There is a B plot that I think is actually really good. And shockingly, it's about the Stones.
Genuine question, does 2 scenes count as a B plot? I guess there isn't another B plot.
It's more than 2 scenes, Brian. It's 4.
Okay, that's fair. I wasn't paying attention then.
The B plot is notable because it features the return of John Glover,
our boy, our beautiful boy.
Not just return after an absence of a few episodes, but a return in the role of Lionel. You know what I mean?
A return to form. He's really shaking off the cobwebs. He's back, baby. He's a beautiful butterfly now.
The hair is like puffed up like he stuck his fingers in an electric socket in just beautiful mane of hair.
Oh, we're gonna get some good Lionel. So some real peak Lionel is coming up. If you think we love Lionel now, wait for it.
Yeah.
But before we get too into that, Zach, what have you been watching this week?
Oh man, that's a great question, Brian. I watched The General, Buster Keaton movie.
Okay, you're on a Buster Keaton kick.
I've watched a couple. Yeah, The General was very good. It's basically a chase movie on trains, and
okay, got it. That's that one.
Yes, it's the big one, right?
Right.
I like Sherlock Jr. more, but
is Sherlock Jr. the one with the clock? Which one's the one with the clock?
That's not Buster Keaton.
Is that? Oops.
No, that's one of his contemporaries. Harold Lloyd is
got it.
Safety Last, I think is what it's called. That's it. I think that's all I watched this week. I fell asleep during several movies on Tubi, so I've watched enough of to comment on.
Right. I'm kind of in the same boat. My daughter is sick. I caught whatever she's got, so it's been a pretty miserable couple of days in our house.
Yeah.
Which has led to I watched Back to the Future again, great movie. Men in Black, great movie. Some solid. They were just on Tubi. Solid fucking picks. Can't go wrong with those. Don't make them like that anymore. I fell down. It's been a long time since I've rewatched Friends. I did like a good chunk of the first season. I'll probably keep going. People get down on Friends. Stop it. It's a good show.
So, season 1 of Friends is my favorite season.
I have a real soft spot for like dead middle.
Yes, I think it would go 1 and then 5 would be the next best one. But I do think a lot of what people hate about Friends comes in like the last 4 seasons.
Right, I agree.
The quality really dips.
I don't have a hard dislike of the later stuff either. I like the whole show.
Oh no, you know me. I'm a Friends fanatic. This could be a Friends podcast.
I mean, there was probably a 50% if we happened to be talking about Friends at the time.
Where
right?
this is called the Central Perk Mix.
Yeah. And we're talking about Smallville. We've hit the same point. We're 86 episodes in.
And we're talking about how we could be doing a Smallville podcast.
I've just watched a couple episodes of Smallville, man. Remember that? We really liked that.
Yeah. Season 4 was my favorite.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a pleasant rewatch. It's of its time. But also in a similar way, weirdly timeless. A couple of years ago, like when it went on Netflix for the first time, a lot of kids were finding it and really, really enjoying it. Which is unexpected for a sitcom older than they are. You know, like I like Cheers, but I struggle to like really get into the groove with it because it feels old.
I love Cheers, but I get what you're saying. I think it's the 20-something of it all. The hip 20-something of it all is, I don't know. It's
sure.
Cheers is a lot of people like middle-aged, and
that's true.
Not all hot 20-somethings.
I wonder if there's also I do think there's a weird flattening that streaming has caused. That's kind of hard to explain. I don't know. This doesn't really apply to Friends, but I don't know if you've experienced this. If I'm watching something on, say, Pluto TV, the live linear channels, and like some sitcom comes up, some middling CBS sitcom, I cannot tell you what year it's from the last 20 or 15-ish years. Maybe 15 is probably right. I can't tell you, especially a game show. We sat there, Emily and I on the couch, sat there and tried to figure out what the fuck year is this from? Because digital photography has kind of flattened everything out to all sort of look the same.
Yeah, that's true. Especially now, especially when you're talking about multicam sitcoms that really all have the one style. So if the camera's not changing, it's like,
yeah. The only other thing I've been watching, and I guess it's relevant to this show, I'm watching a lot of Superman the Animated Series again. And goddamn, delightful show.
Is it real? Is it like the definitive Superman as the Batman animated series is the definitive Batman?
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about and how it really is. I think better than any random comic book you could pick up. I think this is Superman, the best version of these characters in their most platonic, idealized form. The characters on Smallville are going to become these characters. Like, this is the Lex Luthor that Michael Rosenbaum will become. Obviously, the continuity doesn't work out, but you know what
of course, yeah. But he's the slick billionaire. He's not the silly con man. Exactly.
He has a sort of authority to him, and like his Lex Luthor episodes are usually some form of, he's not super mustache twirling. He'll have something like, he invents these robot suits that are going to take the place of Superman. So like cops can wear these. And don't get me wrong, Lex is like, this will keep the streets safer, but I'm gonna get my cut, you know? And like we're gonna push these to market before they're ready, and the people wearing them are gonna go crazy.
I mean, that literally happens at the end of this episode.
Pretty much.
Like,
yes.
The last beat of the episode.
Right. It's also funny, I think, how Superman, I think, kind of sometimes gets stuck in its own self-mythology, if that makes sense. Or at least some sort of confusion or blurred line between Superman, the character, and Superman, the iconic American, like, literary figure, for lack of a better word, if comics count as literature. And I think it can be hard with like how quote unquote important Superman is to American media to separate what an actual on the street Superman story looks like. Because the Christopher Reeve movie, like the Superman, the movie, the best Superman movie, is just a biopic of Superman. It's not quote unquote a good Superman story.
No, it's all about the mythology, right?
Right. And then Superman Returns was so reverent to that, to its own like detriment. And then I watched Man of Steel. We'll talk about that at some point. But this is Superman, the animated series has this perfect, brilliant, kind of cheesy B-level sci-fi stories of, some fucking robot goes crazy or an alien does something and Superman's got to figure it out. And
yes. Great.
It's great. And they're self-contained, but also there's a continuity to them of if Bizarro gets locked in a dimension and that's where he's kept, the next time Bizarro shows up, they'll explain how he got out of the dimension Superman left him in.
Great.
It's great. I just I think it's Batman the animated. Everyone loves Batman the animated series, and Superman's kind of its forgotten brother. It's really good.
I never really watched it. I watched the crossover, but I need to give that a watch.
We should do a couple for maybe not the whole show, but like a couple select episodes maybe in one, I think would be fun.
Yeah, we should at least do the first one.
Yeah, definitely. And Justice League's really good too. I've only seen a handful of smattering of episodes of that through the years, but it's all really good.
Those are all technically in the same continuity as the animated series.
They are, yeah. They were all run by this guy Bruce Timm. He created all the shows, and that's their own continuity. But the continuity is self-contained stories, like
right, yeah. I just know they kind of do they close the loop on Batman and Batman Beyond in the Justice League show at some point.
Justice League Unlimited, right? Yes, I believe that's the finale of Justice League Unlimited.
Oh wow! So it's really a finale for Batman Beyond,
right? Exactly. But man, I think they are exactly what I kind of wish comic books still were. Where I don't know, you see a spinning rack at a grocery store, and like this guy looks cool. Let's see what he's all about.
Right.
Superman the animated series, give it a go if you haven't.
And it's for kids. It's for kids, and that's okay.
And not only is that okay, I think that's better.
Yes. It's for kids, and you can enjoy it. I enjoy Toy Story. That's for kids. Right. I don't need there to be a dark and gritty Toy Story movie.
Nope.
In fact, that sounds terrible.
I do wonder what that would be. I don't want to see it. I do want to see it. Let's be real. If they made it, I'd be like, well, I got to see what this is.
Toy Story movie.
Look, you got to pay attention to it, Zach.
It's a deconstructivist interpretation. Brian, okay, I think we should just make this a weekly segment where we talk about whatever crazy shit Zack Snyder said this week.
Perfect.
Until he runs for president and gets elected, and then it won't be fun anymore.
Right.
So this week, he told a story about how when Batman versus Superman was getting rated by the MPAA, they wanted to give it an R rating because Batman was too mean to Superman. And when Zack Snyder questioned this, they suggested that maybe Batman can be mad at him at first, and then they quickly become friends. I should just read the quote, but it is nonsense. This did not happen.
It's made up. This interaction didn't happen. Surely he basically, the way he's telling this story, the MPAA didn't say go reshoot the movie, go drastically restructure the movie, right? It's like, look, I believe, granted, the MPAA is not a great organization, but I believe it's pretty much like, yo, look, this has 4 seconds of blood. It's got to go if you want the PG-13. Right. He can't swear here. Not the literal structure of the movie.
Wait, I'm going to read the quote. We're just going to read the quote. Pulling it up right here. We couldn't do the blood splat on the wall for the crate, but we kept talking all those things out, and it was still getting an R rating. And then you got that note from them. Well, we just think Batman's too mean to Superman. And we were like, can you really comment on that? That wasn't him. That was the person he was talking to. I think it's editor. And this is him. Yeah, I didn't think that was in your domain to just not like the idea of them fighting. And so now it's R. They were just like, we think it's rude that they're fighting. And I was like, I'm sorry, it's in the title, Snyder explained. Yeah, this is an NC-17. This is an X. Yeah. Is there any way you can cut them fighting? How about they just team up and like each other? How about that? Maybe they like argue in the first act, but then they shake hands and then they fight the bad guy together. I go, well, they kind of fight the bad guy together at the end. Didn't you see that? And they're like, well, there's a lot of fighting before that.
But also, is there? I haven't seen that movie in a long time. It's nonsense. It is a nonsense spinning its wheels fucking movie. Is that just the MPA going, I didn't fucking watch it?
No, yeah, you texted me. That's the MPAA politely being like, please put something in this movie. Please make something happen in this movie.
Make something happen.
Go back to the drawing board, man. There's no way that really happened. This is nonsense.
At least certainly not the way he's described it. This is hugely apocryphal at this point.
Is he confusing this with like a studio note? Because this sounds like a studio note.
Right. I mean, I fully believe that was a studio note of like, surely studio guys were sweating bullets over this movie, right?
Oh, they had to have been. Maybe this, because the studio is probably the one that talks to the MPAA. So they're like, what do the MPAA said? And the studio is like, well, they want you to make Batman more likable.
Yeah. Do you want more money for something to happen?
Yeah. They also want you to make the Lex storyline less confusing and to have a beginning, middle, and end. That's a weird...
Fewer dream sequences, maybe, actually, please.
Brian, we need... I don't know how this is going to happen because I don't know any, but we need to bring on Zack Snyder Dude Bros to talk about this movie.
I don't know any, and I don't want to know one. A lot of people now. I don't know any Zack Snyder Dude Bros, but I don't know how many there still really are. But I know a lot of people when Zack Snyder's Justice League came out, were like, this one, it's pretty good. No, it's not.
No, it was
my wife was one of them. No, it's not.
No, that was a COVID thing where people were like, I'm desperate for entertainment. This is okay, right?
If that fucking movie, and now granted, it's not really a full Zack Snyder's full quote unquote realized blank check vision, right? It's compromised as anything could be.
Thank God.
But like, if that 4-hour episodic cut came out in theaters, people would have rioted. Right? No way would people have been like,
no,
it was pretty good.
It plays better at home because it's basically like a miniseries. It's a made-for-TV miniseries. Right.
I also feel like
I still think the theatrical's better.
I'm with you. I think there's been a little bit of a revisionist internet history over the theatrical. I distinctly remember the attitude toward the theatrical Justice League being, it wasn't that bad. It was like compared to Batman v Superman, it was fine.
Yes, that was my reaction when I saw it the first time. I was like, oh, you see how it could have been good, actually. It wasn't, but it could have been with a few tweaks.
I think it was sitting with like a 60-something on Rotten Tomatoes, and I remember Twitter being like, it wasn't that bad. And now there's been some internet revision that it's awful.
Oh, that was the Snyder people. I've
seen it for people I like too, and I've seen people who I swear to God at the time said it was fine.
I know the Snyder people got to them.
I guess
the Snyder people got to them.
I guess. Oh God, trying to stop myself because we'll record a full episode about Man of Steel, but I watched that today and I have things to say, Zach.
It'll be interesting because I actually like Man of Steel I'll say that. That's
Yeah.
I don't like it as a Superman interpretation. Like, I don't dig that. But as a movie, I don't think it's bad.
I will say I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters the first time. And I really, really, really didn't like it. And I really focused on the things in it that I didn't like. Now, like, the movie hurt me, right?
Right, yeah.
It got under my skin and hurt me because it wasn't the Superman movie that I wanted. Now, completely removed from, a decade or more removed from it. And like now I was able, in like, it's so in my head of like a movie I do not like that like I was able to see more of the not that bad stuff. I didn't think it was that bad.
Right.
I would not go so far as to say like I liked it. But
we'll
get into it in the future.
If you watch Batman v Superman right after, you'll be like, "Oh, Man of Steel's great."
Yeah,
great fucking movie.
That's as good as the Donner movie, comparatively.
It's amazing what a movie with a plot, even like a very like a bare bones.
Ooh, it's thin. It's thin. But that's
Brian,
that's how little Batman v Superman has.
Look, like I just said, I like Man of Steel. You and I on our episode are going to tear that movie to fucking pieces. We are going to tear that movie up.
Truly. So look out for that. We'll be recording that soon-ish to release at some point. I don't know. And then we'll do Batman.
Well, we recorded it in the Phantom Zone.
So actually, we probably time is
when I say we recorded it, I mean we might have already recorded it, or we're going to record it. It doesn't. There's no. It's
right. There's
happened,
no
and it is yet to happen.
Right. That's science, baby. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. Last thing, Brian. This is not related to entertainment at all. This is just a thought I had, and I wanted to see if you could relate.
Sure.
I realized this yesterday. There is nothing in my life that gives me more existential dread than shopping for clothes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I had to get some items the other day, and I just, it takes a few hours. You're out there, you're trying things on. What is it about that makes me go, oh, life is meaningless? Life is utterly meaningless.
I really struggle with it in the summer. I do not have a summer wardrobe. I bought shorts for the first time in a very long. I do not wear shorts, but I'm a dad now, so I actually have to.
It's required by law.
Yeah. I don't really have any summer clothes because mostly how I exist is hiding my body under layers, as many as possible. So summer, I just don't leave my house. I hide. And but I'm finally like looking for clothes that don't make me want to hang myself in the summer. And it's been challenging, and I don't feel good about myself.
Part of it for me is also because of the odd shape of my body. I have a really long torso.
Yeah, you fucking long torso freak.
It's almost impossible to find stuff that fits me in the store. Sure. So that's part of it. I think it's just the existential dilemma of it all, like having to choose between two things and you don't give a fuck about the choice, but you still have to make it.
Sure.
That is the essence of existential dilemma. Like when someone's like, where do you want to eat? And you like really don't care, but you have to choose.
Right.
It's like,
right.
God, that's just shopping. That's clothes shopping. I have no opinion. I have no sense of fashion. And I have to choose. Like, I'm like, I want a partner, a significant other, just so they can tell me what to buy. Please just come with me to the store and tell me what to buy.
I'm kind of into the idea. I haven't fully committed. I'm kind of into the idea of a very minimalist wardrobe. Just like, look, all you need like 4 gray t-shirts, a couple of button downs.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start wearing the same thing every day, like Waldo or something, just so
Yeah, there you go.
I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why in sci-fi movies in the future, they're always wearing the same thing every day, because they're just like, they figured it out. Oh, this is easier.
I'm with you. Yeah. It's rough shit. It's rough out there. Especially I've moved on from the graphic tee phase of my life.
Wait, I can see you're wearing a graphic tee under that.
I am wearing a t-shirt with an American flag on it. Okay.
Is this for Texas?
I've told this story before on Brian and Eric. On Brian and Eric don't belong here, but I'll keep a very, very condensed version here. We went to a paranormal convention in Connecticut. Our booth neighbor was this guy named Biff, who was a quote-unquote spiritual exorcist. His card said he'd performed over 1,000 miracles. He stopped counting when he hit 1,000. He had a long line for people he was performing quote-unquote spiritual exorcisms on for free. And he was a weird dude. He would keep coming over our table and just saying weird shit. And he was a short, buff, bald dude who explained to me, he talks in like a pro wrestler voice, and he told me that ghosts and spirits,
those
demons and ghosts and all that stuff are exactly like the movie Ghost, is what he told me. That's scene in Ghost. He said that's exactly what it's like. And so obviously, I say to my partner Eric, one of us has to go get exercised by Biff. And Eric looked at me and went, "I do not want to do that." So it meant it was me. It was me. I got
honestly, you could probably use it more.
Yeah, that's true.
To be fair.
I got spiritually exercised. It was very strange. And then the next day, there's a whole thing with that. It's a whole thing. But the next day, Biff came back to our table, threw this American flag t-shirt down onto the table, and then signed it with a Sharpie. And now it's my favorite t-shirt.
Oh my gosh. And he didn't sign it, Brian. He just wrote his name. That's not a signature. A signature is like a scribble. He just wrote in capital letters Biff.
Yes. It's my favorite shirt, Zach.
You and I should walk around Canada with you could wear that and I could wear my USA Deal With It shirt.
Oh man, I didn't go into the full details of the exorcism, but Biff at one point, and he's like staring at me in the eye. His face is so close to mine. Not COVID safe, I'll say that for sure. And he looks at me and he goes, "Brian, now we're all on our own journeys in this life. Is it okay if I say the Lord's Prayer?" Like, Biff, you do what you got to do, buddy. You get these demons out of me. So Biff, his face right up on mine, eye contact, just eyes wide, just like, "Our Father who art in heaven," just screaming it at me. It was amazing. It was incredible.
Hallowed be thy name.
Pretty much how it went.
Thy kingdom come. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh,
that's great.
Oh, we got to get Biff on the show. We haven't gotten Biff on Brian and Eric, but he wanted to do our show a little too bad. But wow. He was one of those guys who I think if we had him on the show, we could have just said a couple of things and he would have just gone for the hour. You know, it would have been the easiest recording hour in history.
So your story about Biff reminded me today I was at the gym and there was a guy who was a walking cliche of gym rat guy. He walked out of an SNL sketch and into the real world. He was with a lady, and he was a massive human being, to the point where, like, I wouldn't even call him in shape, because I don't know if he has any mobility. It's just like muscle. Sure. And it seemed a lot of upper body muscle. It was like, I don't know how much leg stuff he was doing, but
sure,
he was lifting massive weights. And every time he did, he was making a sound that was like part pain, part sexual, like, like just screaming in the gym. And he's doing this workout, this ab workout, and making those noises. And then he looks up to the lady who's next to him, just watching, who's there with him. And he goes, every time I start to feel pain, I go, "You're not done, fucker." He goes, "You're not done, motherfucker." And he goes, "You're not done when it hurts. You're done when you're done."
Zach, I think we found the third host of the Talon Mix.
Well, he did call the woman baby cakes at one point. So
baby cakes, wow.
And it wasn't ironic. He wasn't doing it ironically.
Great.
So
sounds great.
If he calls us baby cakes, then he's in. Bring him on.
That's all. That's actually all it takes. That's.
You're not done, fucker.
Right. There is also a secret code phrase that will immediately cause you to usurp one of us, and you will replace one of us as host of the show, but we can't reveal what that is.
Yeah.
Because that would be bad. For this real cash cow that is the Talon Mix for us.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do. Oh.
Should we talk about Smallville, Zach?
I mean, if someone took this podcast from us, we would literally start another podcast without skipping a beat. Like next week, It would just be the same podcast, only we don't talk about Smallville.
No,
I mean,
friends,
we would
ready to go.
No, I really think it should have. We should be recapping Talkville. That should be our podcast. So, because then we're recapping Smallville. We recap the episode and their coverage of the episode.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
We fucked up. It's too late now.
What incentive could we do? I don't know if it's like reviews. I don't know if it's 5-star ratings on your podcasting platform of choice, but like we will recap 5 episodes of Talkville. We'll figure it out.
It's called Talkin'
Talkville, baby. That's good shit.
What if we started that? Yeah, what if we started that podcast just to promote this one? Like we do like 4 episodes of that, just so the Talkville people will go, oh, there's this better Smallville recap podcast out there, where they also talk about Doctor Strange once in a while,
right.
You know.
So with 2 guys you don't know, have never heard of.
But we're funnier than they are. Okay.
I believe it.
We are, Brian. They are much more talented than we are, but we're funnier. Okay?
They can't take that from us.
They're better looking. They're richer. They're more talented. But we're funny. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the fucking show.
This week, we watched Ageless. It's the 20th episode in the 4th season of Smallville and the 86th episode overall. It aired May 4th, 2005. I know this is all, of course, because I'm reading directly from smallville.fandom.com. Thank you again to the hardworking wiki writers so that I don't have to take notes.
And to thank you, we're going to criticize you constantly.
It's in the early dark days of this podcast that are truly dark because I didn't upload them, but so truly dark. We just tried to recap them kind of from notes and memory, and I quickly was like, this is not sustainable for me. The second this becomes homework, I'm not doing it. So thank you, Wiki. A young man and a pregnant woman are in a car trying to call 911. Suddenly, the woman screams, "Car!"
As soon as if an episode opens with a car, I'm like, "Oh, come on!"
It's the classic Chekhov's car in Smallville. So her abdomen begins to glow. The man drives the car off the road and then apologizes as he makes a hasty exit. He I don't know about that phrase. He leaves the car. He gets out of the car. He's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I can't do this shit. The car explodes in a burst of light, startling Clark and Lana, who are driving by. They go to investigate and find a crater where the car was, along with a crying baby. That's where we get the
car destruction. The car is gone. So that counts.
Just gone.
The car was there. It's gone now. It was a roller coaster of emotions, Brian, because the car was swerving. You know, we open with it swerving. And I'm like, oh, crash. And then they go off road and then just stop in the fields. And I was like, oh, come on. And then it starts glowing. And I'm like, oh, it's glowing. What's going on? And then it cut away. And I'm like, what happened to the car? And luckily it was destroyed. Along with the mother, unfortunately. That was unfortunate.
Unfortunately. That's unfortunate. Yeah. hate to see it happen. So Clark and Lana take the baby to the hospital where Sheriff Adams questions them. Clark suspects that the baby might have arrived on Earth the same way that he did. So when the sheriff states the child services doesn't have room for the baby yet, Clark gets his parents to agree to bring the baby home. There is a look on Johnny K's face here. Not a fucking other one. No. I'm tired of taking in all these fucking strays.
Whatever. You need someone to run the farm.
Yeah, right.
There's a great little moment where Clark is like, talking to Johnny K, and he's like, I don't think this baby's from around here. And Johnny K comes at Clark, his alien son, with skepticism. Now, he turns out to be correct. This isn't an alien.
Right.
But just the fact that he's not like, yeah, you're probably right.
It's a baby in a field. It's a common occurrence.
In a crater.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane that he is still being skeptical. It's wild.
At this point, anytime Clark brings home anything, Johnny K should just be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah. What the fuck do I know? I have no idea. Anything is possible.
So Genevieve Teague visits Lionel Luthor, intending to collect on his debt he owes her for getting him out of prison. Did we know that was Genevieve Teague?
Not until now.
Or were they doing some sloppy band-aiding here?
Yes. I mean, yeah, we definitely didn't know until now. I don't know if it was band-aiding or if it was like, we'll come up with something interesting. And then they finally were like, we can't come up with anything. We'll just make it. It's her.
Right. Was it? Am I crazy? Am I remembering this incorrectly? It was Margot Kidder in the car, right?
No.
I'm making that up? Wow.
No, I think when he got in the car, they didn't show who it was.
Got it. Okay. Maybe I just thought it was going to be Margot Kidder, and then that's how I'm remembering it.
Yeah.
Because human memory is incredibly fallible.
So this storyline still blows, but it is a very smart move to give John Glover and Jane Seymour scenes together.
it's you can't go wrong, right?
It's like duh.
It's also funny how whenever two adult actors are, especially like John Glover and a guest star, it does feel like it's for the kids. But they're still chewing it up big time.
I mean, it was the same thing with Rutger Hauer. You get another adult professional actor, like, sorry, that sounds insulting, but like experienced actor.
Yeah.
And just someone, and John Glover's like, ooh, new toys to play with. We can just, let's go.
Good stuff. It's a good scene. I mean, yeah, the things they are saying is still gobbledygook garbage, but
well, it's good. There's the good lines of dialogue. It's just the plot is nonsense that no one cares about. But it's so good to have him back. I'm just so happy to have him back. This is the rare episode that the Genevieve Teague storyline is the good part of the episode.
Yeah, right. So Genevieve wants the crystal of air, but Lionel maintains that neither he nor Lex have it and suggests that Jason does. Jason does not appear in this episode.
Also, John Glover at one point says, "What do you want me to do? Give him a good spanking?" Talking about Lex.
So Genevieve suggests that something might come to harm Lex if Lionel doesn't produce the stone. Lionel asks Lex about the stone and reveals that Genevieve had Bridget Crosby killed.
Wait. Okay, so we're jumping around. That's okay. Michael Rosenbaum is so much better when John Glover's in scenes with him. Like
always.
Lex is like Joey from Friends. Like without the five other friends, Lionel being the five other friends. Right? So Lex by himself is like Joey, the show Joey. Lex and Lionel together, that's like having all six friends.
Okay, are we gonna? I maybe have to use ChatGPT to have it write a premise for a sitcom starring Joey and Lionel Luthor.
I mean, I really think Rosenbaum is a better actor when he's working with Glover. Like he just brings his game up.
Agreed.
So much. There's a great moment here where Lionel, like, you know, he pleads with him. He's like, we only have so much time left. Like, I love you. And Rosenbaum does this fantastic nonverbal acting where he's just like, okay, you know, like I don't fucking want to hear it. It's so good.
Right. So good. At school the next day, Clark asks Chloe to track down the 911 call. Clark and Lana babysit the baby, who they have decided to name Evan since they found him in Evans Field. There's a scene here. It was very funny watching them with the baby because that is now the one thing that I'm like currently an expert on. I've spent the last 3 months primarily focused on keeping a screaming, shitting thing alive. There is Clark is feeding the baby a full ass giant classic baby bottle. That baby is drinking maybe 2 ounces at the moment. Like that is, and you have also established that baby is drinking formula, and that formula is fucking expensive. 99% of my stress right now is how do I keep formula stocked in this house? So if an episode of this podcast goes up late, it's because I'm stressing about how to get more formula. That's like an $180 a week purchase. It's a bit. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. No, go ahead. Go.
There's a bit where Lana is going to come back to the house and Clark is like, well, maybe pick up more formula. Oh, yeah, that is a very expensive purchase Lana's being asked to just make.
Yeah, that's a good call. Although she does live in her own apartment She must have money. She's got some source of money.
That's true. That's true.
Does she have did her parents have life insurance that covered?
That must. It's a real Harry Potter situation. Listen, I know it's not likely, but like, it's just we should probably just get the full package.
You're gonna want that meteor coverage.
How embarrassed would you be?
if you I mean, you'd be even more embarrassed if you just stood there and looked at it while it came right at you.
That'd be ridiculous.
So there's a moment here where Clark needs to warm up the formula, so he uses his heat vision, right? Which means he had a boner while holding the baby.
Yes. Not good, Clark. Not good.
Not a good look. Not a good look. In the kitchen with his family there.
Come on. Clark, keep it under control. Clark is very good at taking care of the baby, but he then decides that he probably shouldn't get too attached just in case the father is still around. Lana reasons that the father abandoned the baby and he is an orphan like them. Just saying, it's Lana has no obligation to this baby. Lana keeps coming over. Lana is hot for Clark being good with the baby. She is into it.
This is another thing I don't like about this episode. Last episode, we finally get the reunification of Lana and Clark, basically at the end of the episode. Although the scene cuts short before they kiss or anything. It's just implied like, oh, let's get back together. This episode, we don't know what is their status. They haven't kissed yet. We haven't seen them kiss.
Right.
We just went from like nothing to we're getting back together to we're going to raise a kid together.
I don't know if we have a hard they're getting back together. I think I'm okay with them being in the weird space.
I just need... I don't know. It just felt like this episode...
She still has a boyfriend at this time.
This episode could have been plopped out of any time and put here.
I do love they were in, after spending no time together this season, they were in a car together, obviously, when they found the baby. I was like, what was going on there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what were you doing?
Lana still has a boyfriend.
I don't think she's still with Jason. I think they have a...
They did fight.
They fought. I don't think they had official breakup, but he was kind of a little grabby.
I guess, maybe that was a peace out situation. Interesting. What is going on?
I had another note here. Hold on. Oh, Lana said they're both the baby's an orphan, like both of them. Right. Lana, your dad's still alive. Just
still counts.
Yeah, I guess he did bounce on you because his wife doesn't like you.
You're right. It's never to be seen again. Yeah, your options are guy who bounced and guy who got fully slam dunked on by a meteor. Not an awesome selection of father figures. So Lana reasons the father, blah, 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 blah. Just then the lights flicker and Evan ages from an infant to age 7 instantly.
So the writers were watching the movie Jack this week.
I was wondering about the episode is titled Ageless, which I don't think is the case. He ages fast.
He's aging. He's right. It's age is what it should be called. Yeah, aging.
No, that's the problem. He's super duper ageful.
Yeah, he's ageful. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
So Clark and his parents talk about what to do next while Lana watches Evan in the loft. Evan already knows how to talk and read and appears to be brighter than most 7-year-olds. He tells Lana that he read the encyclopedia all the way to the letter W. and says he wants to see a real windmill someday. This seems pretty attainable.
Yeah, we could literally. It's a 10-minute drive.
Right.
Right now, we can go see a windmill.
Kid, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind.
Yeah.
So
buckle up.
Going into this next paragraph here, they realize they have to do something about this kid, right? Someone different wrote this wiki. They're not as ingrained here. We got to fill in some gaps to describe this narratively.
Sure.
But they're like, yo, we have to go talk to someone who could maybe help us out with this. And they decide to go to Lex Luthor.
Brian,
Lex Luthor. Yes.
That's not totally a wild decision, is it?
It is. It is. You don't trust him with your own secret. So you're just like, anyway, here's this kid. He's a real fucking weirdo.
Right. But the alternative is Smallville Medical.
That's true.
Lex has specialists, baby.
You show up to Smallville Medical with like, yo, that baby just became a 7-year-old. It's like, yeah, that sounds right. The math checks out.
Oh, internet trouble. Did I disappear for you, Brian?
For you did.
Yeah, I was gone for a second. Okay.
You're back.
We were talking about Smallville Medical.
Right. I don't buy him going to Lex. I don't buy it at all.
I don't know. He's the billionaire friend who bails them out sometimes, right?
Yeah, but like the last interaction we had with Lex, they fully like it was like, I'm glad I have friends looking out for me.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. It's another reason this episode blows. We're just like, this could have been anywhere.
Right. Clark and his parents talk about what to do next. Well, we're fully past that.
Oh, by the way, Lex says that Clark says that Lex has his top scientists on it.
Right.
That's really close to specialists.
So close. I don't think that's enough.
I don't either, but it's so close. He later says Lex has his team on it. It's just so close.
The issue is, I believe the specialist, it's especially when it's a specialist from Metropolis. These scientists easily could be residency in Smallville.
That's true. Know? We need to hear Metropolis.
I think
the Metropolis is really the name drop part of it.
Right. He's really got to be helicoptering someone in, you know? He can't go down to the lab where they go every day. That's just Lex's usual resources. I got my doctor in
Smallville, but he's from Metropolis.
Yeah. That would count.
He was born in Metropolis.
They decided to take him to Lex's lab at Luthor Corp after an evaluation. Lex's doctors determine that Evan is storing energy at a high rate and expels it in one large burst, causing him to grow alarmingly quickly. Sure.
Yeah.
Lex suggests a bone marrow transplant might slow the energy storage, but he needs a match from a biological parent. Once again, sure. At one point, things were kind of like clicking for him. Like, why do they need bone marrow? I don't care.
I know this is obvious and goes without saying, but how sketchy and illegal is this? To be like, we're going to do experimental stuff on this human baby.
Yep.
We think bone marrow might help him. With this disease we just learned about 2 minutes ago.
Once a baby goes from a baby to a 7-year-old in an instant, ethics are out the window, Zach. And that's why you go to Lex Luthor, baby. We're not here for ethics. We're here for results.
Or also just no results at all. Just terrible terrible miscarriages of science.
I mean, one or the other. Yeah, tomato, tomato. On the examination table, Evan grows again to about age 14, dispersing energy and wrecking the lab. He begs Clark and Lana to take him home. Lex starts to tell his team they're going to take him to study, but Clark tells Lex they're not going to study Evan because they're taking him home. Evan quickly realizes he will not live very long if he continues to grow at such an accelerated pace, and Clark and Lana unsuccessfully try to quell his fears. It's like, oh no, I'm going to die. Yeah, probably.
Teenagers are so annoying that, like, if he jumped from 7 to 14, I'd be like,
yeah, right.
Okay,
no, we're done with you, buddy.
Yeah, you're really obnoxious. You just took a turn towards the Anakin Skywalkers. Or just,
I haven't had the years of like caring for you that kind of has attached me to you. Now you're just gross and annoying, and you smell bad.
Right.
And you look kind of weird.
Got a real case of the Anakins. A real case of the Anakins.
Clark leaves Evan with Lana to try to track down his father. Chloe traced the 911 call to a Smallville high school student, Karen Gallagher, who used to short out computer monitors. Apparently, she went to a party 1 week before and hooked up with a boy. Chloe uses an online invitation to track down Evan's father. Clark goes to the garage where the father, Tanner Sutherland, works as a mechanic. He confronts him and lectures him on responsibility. It's... Imagine like Clark just comes in and is like, hey, you got to be responsible. You got like, listen, I slept with a girl. The next day she was fully pregnant. No, I ran for it. I think you get freaked out and run for it pass.
No, I was going to say, the real line is, I slept with her. A week later, she calls me over and she's fully, like 9 months pregnant or whatever. First of all, I would be like, obviously it's not mine. Or like, let's go to the doctor. Like, they didn't go to the doctor?
Smallville Medical.
Or did they go to Smallville Medical? Smallville Medical was like, it seems quicker than normal.
But there's simply no way of knowing how long it's supposed to be.
And I know we haven't done any tests, but you're definitely the father. So
it looks like you from here. I can tell. Tanner denies having a son and tells Clark about how Karen claimed the baby was his after a 1 week pregnancy. He is also not interested in helping Evan. I think Tanner has legs to stand on.
Yeah, I'm with Tanner here. I'm with Tanner.
Also, you were driving her and then your car exploded and she exploded. And you know what? I don't blame this guy for being like, I don't know what the fuck is happening, but I don't think it happened. I'm just ignoring this.
Yeah. I mean, what other options do you have?
It's either I ignore this or I have a lot of questions about reality and how it works. And you're just talking to me about taking care of this baby. I'm not done with what the fuck.
Right. Yeah. Hey, 17-year-old. Fuck.
Yeah. Also, your kid's 14. What? Your kid's 14 and he kind of sucks. Clark returns and admits to Evan that he found his father. Evan is devastated that his father doesn't want anything to do with him and runs away. Lex reveals that the next time Evan grows, he will release enough energy to kill everyone around him, including himself. Lex wants to confine Evan to minimize the damage he will cause. Evan goes to Tanner's garage and the two argue. In the scuffle, Tanner accidentally falls back onto a mechanic's tool and is killed, and Evan runs away in horror. Yes, Zach, emphatically waving.
There's no scuffle.
Yeah.
There's no scuffle. He shoves his 14-year-old child, and the impetus of his own shoving he pushes himself back into this metal thing that kills him instantly.
Falls back.
And then later Tanner's or Evan is like, it was an accident. I didn't mean to. You got shoved. That's all you did.
No one in this episode has read even the previous page of the script in whatever scene they're shooting. It's like Memento style. They're just working through the script backwards, page by page. Lex and Clark find Tanner's body and sadly realize that Evan has no donor now. Evan shows up back at the Kent farm and confesses to Lana that he's done something awful. He is also starting to feel pain as his next energy release nears. He begs Lana to take him to see the windmill at Chandler's Field. Just saying, at 14 and I knew I was about to die, that's not what I'd be asking for.
No, not like, hey, Lana, you really want to, you're not my biological mom.
Also,
it's
I'm about
weird.
to explode. Literally. And figuratively.
Yeah. Hey!
I would just be in a closet furiously masturbating until I died. Hell, if I was about to explode now, that's probably what I'd go do. Clark learns from Chloe that power losses are occurring in a string around Smallville. They trace them to the windmill, where Lana and Evan are standing high above the field. Clark urges Lana to climb down as Evan doubles over in pain. Clark climbs up to be with Evan as he rapidly ages. Evan tells Clark that he is glad he and Lana were the ones that found him, with Clark replying that it was Evan who found them. Okay. Clark shields the blast with his body as Evan expels one more burst of energy, killing himself and destroying the windmill. Weird. This is a weird episode.
How does Clark explain that to Lana?
He shows up like, oh, I got out of the blast radius just in time.
His clothes are destroyed.
Now, what really struck me here is that Lana has spent the weekend being okay with this baby who is rapidly aged into a young man and then explodes. And Clark, you can't be like, oh, also I run fast and bullets don't hurt me.
No, yeah. Every week that he doesn't tell her, it gets exponentially more absurd that he's not telling her.
So after Evan's death, Lana and Clark talk about how she felt like she had purpose while caring for him. Well, when Lana showed Evan's favorite book to Clark, he told her that it was his favorite childhood book. It was The Velveteen Rabbit, and also how he used to imagine himself as the rabbit in the story. Here it is, the best scene in the episode. Lionel pays Genevieve a visit and pours her a glass of wine.
Yes.
Right.
No. She pours.
There was some
the wine.
Reconnaissance happening here. When she starts choking and collapses, Lionel reveals that he has poisoned her wine and dangles the antidote in her face. He tells her that if she ever threatens him or his family again, there will be dire consequences. He also forces the location of the crystal of water out of her. It's very good, but Lionel pulls out this little vial that has the antidote. And now, granted, I've never worked in props. I don't know if I had to come up with like the antidote prop, what I would have done. I don't think this was a good one.
It looks like the antidote from Temple of Doom when when he's like, the poison you just drank, Dr. Jones.
It is just a glass vial with like blue Kool-Aid in it. That looks
There's also the great line Lionel says, I'm told that the pain will be excruciating. By who? Your poison guy?
Would have a poison guy.
Yeah, exactly. I just picture Lionel in like a sketchy guy's apartment, and he's like, man, this one really hurts. I'll take that. Yes, I'll take that one.
Well, let me hear about the...
Would you say that it would be excruciating?
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Okay,
now,
good,
one more time, the Maui Wowie. How did that work again? Okay, no. We'll do this. We'll do the excruciating pain one.
Yes, well, yeah.
Hi everybody. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we are back. So just picking up where we left off here. Clark's parents talk to him, and he shares his fears that since he is not even human, he won't ever know what it's like to be a father. Martha and Jonathan point out that they are parents, even though they couldn't have children, and Clark looks thoughtful. You'd think a kid who's known he was adopted his entire life would,
right,
think of that. Wouldn't need that pointed out.
They say, you never know, at this point, is that part of Superman lore that he has a kid yet? I thought that was later. I thought that was Superman Returns, and then kind of afterward. It's I think only in the last couple. I don't know if that's an inevitability. Yeah.
In being a Nietzsche line, I think only recently that's now kind of an accepted. Superman and Lois have kids.
Right. No,
it's kind of an accepted storyline.
That's what I thought. So my question is, what are they hinting at there, the writers? You never know.
I don't know if this is a Nietzsche hint thing. I think this might just be he's a teen boy who wants to have a family someday.
Right, I know. I felt like the writers having the scene end on, hey, you never know what'll happen.
Yeah.
It seems like they're saying, hey, maybe he will have a kid one day.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think, because now in the comics he's got a kid, and then obviously Superman and Lois is about him having kids.
Maybe they're talking about crypto.
I don't know if. Yeah. Though, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, infamously ended. The series finale, the unintentional series finale when it was canceled, ended with a baby on their doorstep. That was supposed to build up another season, and then it got canceled.
Right.
We'll have to do that show at some point for
someday.
So Clark goes to the Lex's mansion. Thanks, Wiki. To thank him for setting. I'm just reading verbatim here. Clark goes to the Lex's mansion to thank him for setting up thing with child services by claiming that Evan has died of pneumonia.
Oh, whoa.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, because all I remember is thanks for straightening things out with child services. And I wrote down, hey, that kid blew up. Sorry. You remember that kid you let us watch for a few days?
Don't worry about it. My rich friend says it's fine.
Turns out they had a rare condition that made them age 14 years in one day and then blow up.
So
we don't have any evidence.
We'll just call it a wash, right?
We don't have any evidence of it. You're just gonna have to trust me.
Are we good here?
I'm really certain they don't say anything about pneumonia, but if they did, that doesn't work.
No.
Hey, the baby had pneumonia. We didn't take it to a hospital. Where's the body? We buried it.
It's underground where he wanted. That's where he wanted.
He had pneumonia and then blew up at the end of it.
Classic baby grenade. You know how it goes.
The thing is, if they didn't have that line, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. I wouldn't have been like...
Wouldn't have thought about it. It is very funny.
They're drawing attention to...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, child services is going to want to know what the fuck is going on with this kid.
Lex assures Clark that Evan's death will not have been in vain, as the research acquired from Evan's aging process could eventually advance the studies on cancer and other diseases by hundreds of years. He tells Clark he'd be releasing the findings to help future generations. Clark wondered what kind of man Evan would have been. Once again here, reading directly from the wiki. Clark wondered what kind of man would Evan have been as a man.
Oh no.
And both started talking on how much of a capable parents they would be.
Ooh.
Wiki. This one needed another
few too many before we wrote this one, huh?
I think so. So Clark, I believe, talks about Lex tells Clark that he would be a good father. Clark returns the compliment, to which Lex is like, maybe not.
Yeah, Lex is like, my dad was kind of shitty, and so I'm kind of shitty.
Right.
Cards on the table.
After Clark's departure, a man working for Lex asks him if he's seriously intending to release the findings acquired from Evan to the public. Lex replies with an eventually, implying that he would not be releasing the findings anytime soon. I think that's a good Lex moment.
It's a good button to end on.
I do think Lex wants to do the right thing. Lex just wants to make sure Lex gets Lexes first.
Right, yeah, exactly. Just like you were talking about with the cartoon.
Exactly.
I think that's a definite nominee for worst of the season.
It's certainly a nomination. Zach, there was no featured music this episode.
Oh, no, they weren't going to waste any good needle drops on this fucker.
I think it's certainly not a bottle episode, but I certainly think this is we ain't got a ton of budge.
Yeah.
Hey, the budge is a little tight.
It feels to me like this is the end of the season and I'm tired.
Sure. Yes.
We need something to film.
Right.
Which is tough because the end of the season is really when you want to be ramping up excitement. And they were. The last two episodes did their job. And I think the two after this are both, if I remember right, do their job. So, what the fuck is this thing right in the middle?
You definitely could have just not. You could have just ran a rerun.
Yeah.
Do Spirit again.
The Lionel stuff you could have just put in a different episode.
Right. It's not good. I think I texted you. I didn't find it to be a slog to watch. I found it the funny kind of bad. Rather than, I think there was something else this season that I really just found a chore to get through.
It's no Zero. It's no Zero. It's no Redux, which was the other really bad one.
Looking at some notes here. This is a long paragraph. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just the first sentence here. This episode doesn't have any kind of main antagonist, although it does have plenty of antagonism.
Oh, that's great.
No Lois this episode. Honestly, don't worry, it would have to be. I think this wouldn't be a perfect fix. There'd be a lot of changes. This would have to be, a good script. This would be more fun for Clark and Lois.
Oh, 100%. Poor Kristen Crook. They don't give her anything to do except for look longingly at Clark or the baby. They give her nothing.
Right. Seriously.
Lois would at least have fun lines.
Right. Let's see. Lana didn't know that Evan was going to die. Then she probably didn't think anything when Clark covered Evan and then appeared okay, but she was almost able to see Clark running until the wiki.
That's how bad the episode was. The person,
that's what I'm.
The person writing the wiki was like, "I'm at one draft. I'm just gonna stream of consciousness. We're gonna get this out."
Oh, okay. This. In other media, we have here, this episode strangely mirrors an episode from the Batman-themed TV series Birds of Prey, where the huntress discovers a baby that rapidly ages every time he sleeps, who ultimately sacrifices himself to save the day and eventually dies in the same episode. Several producers from Smallville were producers for that show as well. I don't know. This was a pretty, I don't think much of that.
I mean, it makes sense. They're desperate for an idea, and they're like, let's just do that again.
Whoa, this is interesting. Either the wiki's not... Something here doesn't make sense. Something here does not add up, my friend. Jason Teague does not appear in this episode because Jensen Ackles was filming the pilot for his show Supernatural. The timeline here does not work out, right? Pilot? Though this would have been filmed long before it aired. But also I feel like they're writing him out because that doesn't explain. I assume Supernatural was already happening, and then that's why there's a hasty write-out here. There is no source here on this. So we do not know if someone on the wiki was just guessing, you know? Yeah,
I would like to know more. If he didn't know he had Supernatural until now, then what the fuck were they doing with his character?
What the fuck is happening here then?
They were just like,
I've been granting some grace because like shit went down here, you know?
Right. We have this very charming actor, and we give him right off the bat a main character role, and then we just give him nothing to do.
Right. That don't make no sense. Karen Gallagher was said to have gotten pregnant while attending a party thrown by a Smallville High student named Christina Verano. Christina Verano was the name of a post-production coordinator on Smallville who later became an associate producer on the show in season 9 and season 10. That's fun. I like stuff like that. Clark and Lana finding Evan in a field parallels Jonathan and Martha's experience when they found Clark in the pilot, even down to the part where Lana slams on the brakes.
Really?
That's literally the text of the episode.
Yeah.
Okay, Evan's ability of rapid cell growth is harnessed and perfected by Lex to create clones. The later results are Project Ares and Project Gemini, as seen in Prototype, Kara, Gemini, and Persona. Okay. Clark will later reference the events of this episode in the episode Guardian. Guardian is a season 11 issue of the comic book. That's it for this one. This one's a stinker.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm not giving it I don't think it's a grade A stinker, like 0.
No, Lionel saves it. Right.
So that wraps it up for Ageless. Next week, we're going on to Forever, the penultimate.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Second to last episode of season 4. Almost another one in the can. Oh man, the little image here looks good.
What is the image?
But I won't spoil it.
Oh, okay. All right. I won't spoil it. I know what happens next week.
I'm also, not quite sure I could explain this accurately, but it looks wild. This has been the Talon Mix. Thank you so much for listening. Hey, if you're on Spotify or iTunes or any podcatcher app with the option to give this show 5 stars, we'd certainly appreciate that. Or, whatever stars you think are worth it. If you think we're a 3-star show, we get it. We won't be like, what? Hey, also in the podcast description, we have a link to our Patreon. We are extremely humble.
Yes, I can't hear you, Brian, but since we're almost done with the episode, I'm just gonna go. My question is this. Will we one day do a podcast without anything going wrong?
Yeah!